Hey, how are you? We're back for a little bit more of Rav Ashlag, Rav Baruch Halevi Ashlag, the son of the Baal Hasulam on the Parsha. This week is Parshas Titzaveh. Rav Ashlag has a fascinating idea. He uses the pasuk at the beginning of the Parsha, which says, "Vayikhu elecha shemen zayizach," that you should take for yourself the oil with which to light the menorah. He uses this as an opportunity to talk about a fascinating, important, and fundamental idea. He begins by quoting a Gemara. The Gemara says, of course, that the pasuk says, "Vayichu elecha," you should take the Shem and Zayas for yourselves. Hashem saying to the Jewish people, take the oil for yourselves, not for me, because I don't need the light. And the menorah is therefore there as an edus, as a testimony to the fact that the Shekhinah is always present in the Jewish people, is always Shora B'Yisrael. And so Rav Ashlag tries to understand, he wants to understand what is this idea that the menorah is an edus specifically for the fact that the Shekhinah is always Shora B'Yisrael, is always present within the Jewish people. He begins by reminding us a fundamental principle, both in the Torah of the Baal Hasulam in general, specifically, and as well as in Chachmas Emes and in Kabbalah and Panemius as well. He reminds us that the point of everything, the point of creation, was for HaKadosh Baruch Hu to be mative to the Nivraim, for HaKadosh Baruch Hu to do good to all of those who can receive good from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. However, the way Hashem set up the world and the way Hashem created the framework within which that good is given, it only operates in a way in which we receive good by working for it. When we don't prepare, when we don't create kalim, when we don't create conduits for receiving the shefa from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the shefa typically doesn't come. And why is that? It's not, Rav Ashlag says, God forbid, it's not because God needs anything from us in order for to give anything to us. It's not because it's outside of God's ability to give us all of the good in the world unless we press the right buttons and pull the right levers and do the work ourselves. Rather, the whole point of this framework within which we typically only receive goodness, we receive shefa, we receive the tov that the chok hatov wants to give us only through our own work, it's only because Hashem wants to avoid the situation in which we are eating nahama de kisufa, in which we're eating free bread, so to speak, right? If the whole point of HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanting to give us the ultimate goodness is chok hatov lehetiv, the good Hashem wants to do good to us, so giving us nice things is one thing, that's good. But if we feel embarrassed when we receive them, then something is missing from the good that we're receiving. It's much better and it's much more good, and the good we receive coming from the ultimate good is far more significant and far more impactful when we don't feel bashful, when we don't feel like we're getting something we haven't earned. And so the typical way the world works is that we only receive good when we work for it. However, Rav Ashlag says the menorah is a symbol of the fact that it doesn't have to be that way. It's a reminder of the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is there, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Shorer B'Yisrael, the Shekhinah is Shorer B'Yisrael, regardless of the fact of whether we're working for it or not working for it, or if we deserve it or we don't deserve it. It's there all the time. This is testified to by the menorah itself, and particularly the Ner Ma'aravi, the center lamp of the menorah. We know that the way the Gemara describes how the menorah was lit is that the oil for the center lamp was filled, a log of oil, and then the lamp was lit. And then from that lamp, the Kohen would light all 6 other lamps. And then it would burn overnight. And in the next morning, the 6 lamps would be out. And that 7th lamp, which had started burning before the other 6, was still burning. And the Kohen would blow it out and set it back up, again, filling it up with a log of oil. And each of the lamps got the same log of oil. And that center lamp would be lit first, and it burned. And as it burned and used up its oil, the other 6 lamps would be lit with that lamp. And then that evening, when the menorah was going to be lit again, the 6 branches would have burnt out. The log of oil would have been used up, and the same log of oil that existed within that center branch was still burning. And so Rav Ashlag points out, he says, this is a testimony. The menorah itself is a testimony to the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't need us to do anything in order to deserve Shefa. The Or can be there, the kindness, the goodness, the Shefa and the Chesed can be there, the burning oil in that middle lamp can be there, even if we haven't done anything to continue deserving it. That same log of oil which burnt out and was, so to speak, used up in the other 6 branches, that's still burning in that central branch. And from that branch, you're going to be able to light all of the other branches. The only reason why you work is not because God needs anything from you. Rav Ashlag says, the only reason why we work hard, why we engage in avoda, why we need mayim nukvin and kisufim and a ratzon and desire and ishtokukus to create kalim and activate shefa from up there to come down here for us to receive, is not because God needs anything from us. It's actually the opposite. God is always there for us and God is always giving to us, but it's only so that we should have the impression that we can stand on our own 2 feet and we deserve what we're getting and we can feel proud of what we're experiencing and what we're receiving from Hashem because we've worked hard for it and we deserve it. But as we work hard and as we receive it and as we deserve it, we should always keep in mind that that in and of itself is a chesed. And because it doesn't have to be that way, the shefa is always flowing, just like the ner maravi on the menorah is always burning, and aids us to the fact that the Shekhinah is always Shor Rabbi Yisrael, no matter how much we've done to deserve it or not. Good Shabbos.